but I want to say Chad Gable for his. I mean, you can buy both shows, right? His performances. I mean, oh my gosh, this guy. And I think I saw a quote that Dave says he's the most underrated guy. I don't think he's underrated by WWE. I think he's very well. He's up there with the top people. That's why he's in this position, right? That's why he's.
If he was properly rated, he'd be in the main event scene. He
was in the main event scene.
He's slotted in the mid card for the most part. He's got a program where he's got a mask, which is presumably to raise his profile for the whole thing. But he is not at a top level guy in WWE. He's not a Drew McIntyre. He's not a Damian Priest. He's not even at their level.
He's getting up there though, and he's in that position. Look at the position he's in. He main evented a big show. He was in the biggest
guy,
one of the biggest matches on this show.
Kurt Angle, but he is positioned to main event Raw. He's not positioned to.
What's the main eventer? How's it talking about?
What I'm saying is like. We have content. We have all of these shows. We have the Saturday Night main event. We went through this all at the beginning. You got the Saturday Night main event. You got the PLEs. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Evolve. They're at the lower end of the content. When you have a guy who's slotted to be, main eventing the Raws that aren't presumably getting all the viewership that they're getting, like you have the CM Punk coming in for the big star appearance and the Seth Rollins doing the thing. But you have Chad Gable as the workman guy in the middle of the card being treated as the top of like the middle of the roster. Like I see him as a middle of the roster guy. And to me, that's underrated because I look at him and he's literally Kurt Angle resurrected in a lot of ways. Like every time I see him, like he's almost as good as Kurt Angle in all the different ways. And it blows my mind. But it's just
the size is going to hold him back from being a world title contender.
When you say underrated is when you have a guy who's really good and the company's just not doing anything with him. But this company he is their main heel in this Lucha Libre angle. He's doing, but he's the main heel on both. He's the Chad Gable main heel in AAA Worlds Collide, and he was as a top heel and as El Grande Americano, which they're featuring a lot on their show. It's one of the big angles of this year that they're doing, and he's beating AJ Styles. He's beating.
Is he a world title contender though? Because that's how they determine who the main eventers are.
He could be a world title. I'm not saying this year, but I think if that were me, I think he definitely needs a title run.
No, I mean, I know based on your booking, but is that WWE's booking? Do they see the small size and do they go, he's not, we just can't.
Like what single title has he won?
I don't think this height is holding him back at all.
This man, his nickname was Shorty Gable on their television.
But you're thinking about Vince McMahon era. This is not this Triple H. I don't think sees that with him. I think he sees a top-notch worker, a guy he could do whatever's with is hitting home runs with this gimmick. You can't say he's been bombing because
you do not have to praise him to me because I think I've always thought he was.
I believe he's amazing, but I think there's a ceiling to him, and if he were rated higher by the company and not underrated, there wouldn't be that ceiling. That's my whole argument.
If they move him into a world title scenario, I would be ecstatic. I don't see it because of historically how this works, but I would be ecstatic.
Was Mr. Perfect underrated?
Mr. Perfect's like 6'3", man.
Was he underrated?
I don't think so. I think people.
And he was the Intercontinental Champion.
Mr. Perfect was under.
So Chad Gable.
He also had he had tons of runs with Hogan though. He was like a He had like 2 or 3 different world title runs against Hogan. He's never won the world title.
I think Chad Gable is definitely not underrated because, like I said, if he's underrated, they would just be, he's a really good worker. We all can see it, but they're not doing nothing with him. They're clearly and obviously is black and white as good, right doing something with him. I mean, how can you? That's why I'm like,
they might
I
have
see underrated. That blows my mind.
They might have a plan, but the optics are still he's at a certain level, and I think he's better at the level they have him at.